Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of Community Report on Channels Television. I'm Victoria. Now, a wedding is a solemn occasion, a special function by which two hearts and minds are made into one. Therefore, the clothing of the bride and the groom are carefully selected to reveal the significance of the grand celebration. Now, as much as there are several other important aspects to the wedding, the bride's wedding gown is the most important primary concern for the bride. The wedding gown needs special mention considering the fact that the bride is the center of attention at the wedding and thus her attire commands the most attention. That's why on Community Report this week we're taking a look at the community of wedding dressmakers in Nigeria and also those who sell. I'm Victoria Ido. Let's enjoy the show. Contemporary weddings are usually a symbol of love and commitment between the bride and the groom. For the most part, the wedding is usually a contract signed and sealed by both parties and their parents. Examples of brides wearing white can be traced back to as early as 1406, the 1840 marriage of England's Queen Victoria to her cousin Prince Albert. Our astonishing white dress inspired thousands of common folks to follow suit, and so today, the white dress trend has grown. Many women picture their wedding dress from the time they're very young. Sometimes that picture doesn't translate to a dress ready for purchase at the time of the wedding. And to have a wedding dress made unique and to taste, a wedding dressmaker is of great need. And that's where people like Aviog Energy Sumuiwa comes in. They make bespoke wedding dresses that fit perfectly for the bride. The stages of wedding dresses starts from consultation. In this stage, the bride picks out the kind of dress she has dreamed of.
You come for a consultation. You could either do it online through WhatsApp, email, or you come physically for your consultation. So you get to tell us what you want, your wedding dates, the color of the dress you want. We get to try out skin tones, if your dress is going to have any skin tone, and other details like your veil length, the fabric you want. You get to choose the fabric you want. Okay, or something like that. Then we'll be changing the lace details and the way the wrap is. So when we come up with the illustration and you have corrections to make, you make them and we correct the sketch. But if not, if you approve of the sketch, then we can start production. So to start production, we get fabrics, we go fabric sourcing. If you've chosen a fabric from us, then we don't have to go fabric sourcing. But in case you don't really like all the options we have or some of the options we have, we go for fabric sourcing and then we show you pictures of what we think you like and will suit your design. So once we've gotten the fabrics, the next thing is to make your patterns, to create the patterns for your size, because it has to fit you perfectly since it's a bespoke wedding gown. Let's start on another pattern so that we can use it for our second dress. Let me see this one. Trace the bodies. You can bring down to say cross check. The next step is to cut the fabric.
We have the whole front of the dress now.
After cutting the fabric, it's transferred to the sewing room where the tailors work on it. So after the tailors are done, the next step is for embellishments, applique and embellishments, call it finishing. So the finishers do the applique and the embellishments on the dresses, and then come for your fitting. So most times you get to do 1 or 2 fittings, sometimes 3, but the minimum is 1 fitting. So sometimes you come for your first fitting and it's perfect and you have no alterations and everything, and that's a happy day for everybody. I decided to do bridal wear because I love dresses that are dreamy. I love long dresses with long trains, dresses that make you feel like a princess. And I love how brides feel when they come to try on their dress and how emotional it is. So that's why I decided to do bridal wear.
AV is a fashion designer for about 4 years now.
I started making regular dresses, ready-to-wear dresses and bespoke dresses. So it was a little difficult at the beginning, getting capital, because you need a lot. You have to actually put in everything you have, and you might not be getting so much back when you're starting. But then if you have like the drive and the vision, and you know, okay, someday it's going to actually be very successful and big, you just keep at it. So at the beginning it was a rough ride. For the first 2 years at least, it was a rough ride. But after a while, things started picking up and I was getting better at my skill. So I'd say so far it's been good. It's been good.
And as a young startup, social media has been a good way to put out her business.
I use social media to my advantage. Everything we make, every single step, we try to post it out there, and people get to see it from far, even though they don't get to, because our store, it's not one you can walk past and know we make dresses here. So it's from online, we actually get more people to see exactly, most of our customers to see what we are doing and to come.
The Nigerian fashion industry rakes in millions of naira on a monthly basis. But one major challenge they face is fabric.
Getting the right fabrics and embellishments, it's quite challenging because I think our market is limited. Sometimes you have to import fabric and it makes it more expensive compared to if you could source it locally. So a lot of times what you see is either the fabric is common or it's not exactly what you want, but you have to do with it. So that's the first problem. I like making dresses that are really long trains. And most times the fabric we see in the market don't come in lengths that can accommodate those long trains. So we have to buy fabrics that have short lengths and manipulate it, and makes the work longer compared to if we could get fabrics with long trains. So fabric sourcing and embellishments and materials and everything is one major challenge that we have here. And then secondly, I would say electricity. I believe everybody complains about it because if you have to be on diesel or fuel every time, it actually increases your cost of production compared to if you have constant electricity. So that's the second one. And I think finally, skilled artisans or skilled tailors and embellishers, because when you get staff that is skilled or you have to train, after a while, most of them go to start their own businesses. So it's like we're just training people and they go off, except you sign a contract, of course. You train them for a short while and then they want to, you can't blame them, obviously. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, particularly in Nigeria, to help you. But it's really, it could be a struggle because every time you try to replace, you have to replace people and probably train them from scratch and so on and so forth. So those are like the major challenges I think we face.
It takes a lot of training to become a wedding dressmaker.
Cascade. It's called bias, you understand? So, how do you represent cascade? Very, very simple. It's under garment detailing. So when you get to garment detailing, So how do you start? You start like this. Now your detailing is like this. So now. So now let's draw it on the model. Don't worry, we'll explain later.
A beautiful dress comes with a lot of embellishments, which takes a lot of time.
Brown we call it skin tone mesh. So we use it to look just like your skin. but we still want to put some embellishments, and we obviously won't put the embellishment directly on your skin, so we use that to replace your skin, and then we put the embellishments or lace applique on it. So once you put on the dress, it looks like you're naked, but then embellishments are on your body, so from a distance it looks like you're naked. It blends with your skin tone exactly. That's why if you come for consultation, we get to pick the exact skin tone for you. Exactly. Averagely, we tell you from 8 weeks. It takes up to 8 weeks to make a dress, but then it depends on how much work we're going to put into your dress, like how much embellishments you want. It could go longer than that. But if you're just doing a regular average embellished wedding gown, 8 weeks, you come for your fitting after that. But some dresses take months. It takes a long time. Yes, and because we also do other dresses simultaneously, so it's not like we're just focused on one all through. Exactly. So that's why we have to give enough time, and so that it's not rush work. So we take our time to do very well, particularly for the embellishments.
Different dresses in different styles and different fabrics. A pretty A-line sweetheart neck tube dress made with lace fabric, with a tail added to perfect its finishing. This right here is a Tully V-neck classy cup sleeve dress made into layers and layers to create a long step dress to complement its looks. Maya Tifo is one of Nigeria's finest fashion designer. His foray into wedding dresses started in 2011.
A lot of people do not know I actually started wedding dresses in 2011. That was actually a year after I went full-time in my fashion business. So it wasn't like it was a long period before I went into wedding dresses at all. So I started this in full-time in 2010. 2011 I started making wedding dresses. And it was just for the fact that, it started with my sister-in-law. She wanted me to make her wedding dress from nowhere. And I did it, and people liked it, and I got a few referrals from that, and it just went on. Then I just officially launched the wedding line, and I moved on with it. So it was something that just actually sprang up organically, starting with her.
It works. Yeah, iron works.
I thought you had bought it, that's when you find out that this is our investment.
Successfully running a business, especially as a wedding dressmaker, takes a lot of dedication, learning and relearning.
In terms of wedding dresses, I think that if you kind of understand what brides want, you're almost there. Because first of all, it's an emotional connection to the dress rather than the physical or rational connection to the dress. They want to just see it and it touches their heart, if that makes any sense. Then you have to focus on how to get your technical competence to do what they want, because the kind of craftsmanship that you need for a wedding dress is quite intense. It takes a lot of months, if not years, of training to perfect some elements of it, and there are always new things coming, and you have to continue training to be able to deliver on those. So for me, for you to be able to be successful in the bridal business, you have to be able to follow the new trends and learn the skills that are required to develop, to produce those kind of dresses. And for brides, customer service is just so important, because they're coming to you and it's like they're bearing their hearts to you. So you have to be their best friend, their confidant in that whole period till they get married.
The bride is usually the most important person of the day, particularly because she's the center of attention. That's why she has to decide which dress she wants.
It's always the bride. The bride that literally chooses their dresses, not the designer. We just bring it to life, because it's that one dress that they've planned for a long time, how it will look and what they want. So you coming in and saying, no, don't wear this, wear that. half the time, more than half the time, wouldn't work because they have a picture in their head, except it doesn't suit their body type, okay, or maybe the church requirement or the other functional requirement. That's when they'll change it. But every bride pretty much has a great idea, almost a good 95% locked down on what they want. So you bring it to life or you shape it to fit whatever functional requirements it is.
When making a wedding dress, apart from a good design, the type of fabric is also very important.
So this is tulle, okay? We don't use a lot of tulle because Nigerians like fabrics that are very elaborate. So you use tulle in terms of the manipulation of the fabric rather than just using it like that. So like what we have done with this, we had like layers and layers all ruffled together. So it's solid fabric. I use a lot of lace appliques. So it's like a lace pattern. And most of the time we actually bead the patterns and apply it onto the dresses. So this one again is like crystals but on lace applique. Yeah, and that's used to just accentuate some little parts of the dresses. Some people have actually wanted to use this for their whole dress too. It's just going to be well more expensive, but it is possible to use that.
The cost of a dress varies depending on how far the bride is willing to go.
It depends on what kind of dress and what your budget is. So it could range from anywhere from $500,000 naira, and it can go up to 6 million if you wanted to go that way. So it's not really, I always tell people, it's not really the designer, it's really the bride. So if you tell me you want your dress to be Swarovski crystals and, you know, all over, I will have to buy Swarovski crystals and they're expensive. So it's not really me, it's what you have asked for. Do you get what I mean? But someone may decide, I don't want Swarovski crystals, I just want like, can you just bead it in the same manner and it will be cheaper. So if someone says, I want to use this all over my dress, it's going to be a very expensive dress because these are crystals and it's got some Swarovski within it, so it's going to be expensive.
It's important for fashion designers to learn to manage their clients properly.
I think that through the consultation process, you're very sure of what it is. I do something called a design document. A design document is where I literally explain the dress back to you that you said you wanted, with as simple terminologies as possible. And I use images from the internet to represent what you said you want. So if you read it through, you understand what your dress is. So at that point in time, if you have received the design document and you have said, oh yeah, fine, that's already documentation to say this is what it is. So if you come for fitting and you say it is wrong, we have a reference point we go back to. And it's clear with both of us to say, oh, this is what I told you and that's what I have done.
Wedding dressmaking in Nigeria is a multi-million naira industry. Investing in fabric processing will go a long way to reduce the cost of production and in turn increase profits.
For us to be able to provide, or any vendor to be provide the kind of quality fabric you need in Nigeria right now, it's going to be so tough because we are like almost a good how many years behind the world. You understand? So you can't catch up in a year or two or even 5. It's going to take a lot to catch up in that time because people that have gone like really, really super far when it comes to things like that. And again, with things like power, there's an issue. How would they even produce it for it to be competitively priced in the first place? And if the market base is only us, then it won't be competitive because the guy that's making it over in Korea is selling to the whole world. So if he makes 1 million yards, that can go in a day. So now, if you're going to start doing that, you have to compete with the whole world. If you're going to do it at this scale.
At the same time, yeah.
So if you're going to do it in a smaller scale whereby it's to give Nigerians, you know, yeah, that could work, but I'm very sure the cost will still be high.
For a bride, making your own dress can be a daunting task.
Come here, don't let it rain.
Walking down the aisle with her father by her side, the memory of her mom, and the dress she made with her hands is a feeling she will always cherish.
Okay, ever since I was a child, I've always been fascinated by weddings, been fascinated by wedding dresses, and we always used to go window shopping with my mom and my sister. And I used to say, I don't really like those things I'm seeing, that there has to be something. So I told her then that I was going to draw my design and then take it to a known design because I liked couture. At that time, I hadn't even known there was anything like couture or, bespoke wedding dresses then. So I told her I was going to make it. And, somehow life happened and I ended up designing for a living. So I started, wow, why not do it? And I decided to make my dress.
It couldn't have been a very easy ride, knowing all attention will be on her. Having the perfect dress is worth it.
It took me so long to get the fabrics because some of them I actually imported them. It's because I was trying to create something different. When I kept going to the markets, I couldn't find what I really wanted. I wanted something that would, because there's some specific designs that are, normal. So even in Bespoke, you say, this one is normal, you've seen this one before, you've seen that one before. I just wanted something different. So it took me a while because I had to import, I had to wait for a while for the fabrics to get here. Over like a month or 2 months in gathering fabrics, yeah.
Can you spot the difference? The picture on the right is imported, while the left is made by a Nigerian designer.
We are there. I think that if you look at a wedding in Nigeria right now, if there are 10 weddings in a Saturday, more than guaranteed that 8 of those wedding dresses were made here. Yes, more than certain. And there are different reasons for that. Number one, it's probably a cheaper version of what they would have actually wanted to get in terms of the taste that they have. Secondly, it is here, so it is cheaper to go for fittings 3-4 times when the person is here with them. Then we as Africans and Nigerians, we kind of understand what we like, and we are making it for you. So even if it's something that looks like it's international, it's already tweaked again to fit the bride's, particular requirements.
I think it depends on the tailor, it depends on the designer. There are high-end designers and there are, on the average designers. But comparing even the high-end and on the average, I think it's just cheaper to get a ready-to-wear compared to sewing, because a ready-to-wear you get for the price of 120, between 120 and let's say 300 and something. Like the highest in our store here is 360,000 naira. Compared to, let's say you're making a dress and then you've been charged for 400, 500 thereabouts. So I think, yes, it is still lesser.
Accessories used should be to complement the wedding dress.
Basically, probably because the dresses themselves, you hardly see dresses that comes with gold design, except for gold dresses. Like we have a dress here that is plain gold, and for that, you could accessorize in gold. But for dresses where you have Swarovski stones, you have white beads, you have stones, studded beads and all that, I think silver just goes well with it, because you want something that goes with your dressing, not something that is just way out of it.
The norm of wearing plain white seems to be gradually fading, as brides can now pick whichever color they want.
Come with what the church wants them to wear, and some people just have the idea of what they want to wear. But I would advise bride keeps open mind, because most times the dress that fits you perfectly may be outside the color of a dress you want, originally. So, but then people come in and, they want sparkling whites. But I think now they're tilting more to off-white, ivory, because sincerely these dresses brings out designs more.
So far, the Nigerian fashion industry has done well. A little more needs to be done to place Nigerian wedding dress industry on the map. If you're about to get married or you're looking forward to what you would wear on your wedding day, well, you have a lot to choose from. It's been a beautiful show. Thank you so much for watching. If you miss any part of the show, you can catch it on our YouTube channel. You can also send your comments to the social media handles showing on your screen. Until I see you next week, live and let's live. Bye for now.